Coming soon, famine in Europe on the brink of historic collapse. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving for North America. God bless you all, and we should all thank God for giving us our daily food. We should not take this for granted. Famine in Europe on the brink of historic collapse. The globalists are pushing for destruction of the world economy, which will lead to citizen uprising and civil wars in America, Europe, and many other countries, to force people to accept the New World Order, of course. Already the collapse of food and energy production is getting worse day by day. Europe has killed itself with its involvement in the Ukraine war. Countries like Germany, France, UK, and other countries are facing an energy disaster, especially for Germany. The disaster will be enormous because it's heavily dependent on Russian energy to generate electricity and power domestic industry. Of course, its production depends on that. There will be no production. Now, Europeans have committed economic suicide by imposing sanctions and total economic war against Russia, thinking that Russia's economy will collapse. But the result will be tragic for Europeans. They're the ones who will starve and get cold. It's absurd for Europe to send weapons to Ukraine to use against Russian soldiers, at the same time demand Russia to avoid waging an economic war against Europe. That is, we Europeans say to Russia, as long as we keep, punching you, you have to sell us your oil and grain and your fertilizers. Now, the euro will collapse probably within the next 7 months. That's the euro currency. The euro will collapse in the next 7 months. Germany's economy will collapse. Hunger will spread across Europe and beyond. When a country can no longer provide food, fuel, transport, care, then we will see riots and civil wars. Hungry, frozen, desperate people doing desperate things. We are witnessing the suicide of Western civilization. Millions of European citizens will find themselves freezing and starving this winter while their political leaders blame Putin instead of themselves. Health Minister Karl Lauterbach has claimed that many hospitals in Germany could be driven into bankruptcy by rising energy prices and inflation. In the future, people would tell their children that once upon a time, Europe had highly advanced nations that they had killed themselves by engaging in a senseless economic war with Russia that led Europe to a collapse, and that one of them ended up worse than the others. Ironically, it was actually the European nation with the largest and most powerful economy, that is Germany, which had openly embraced almost every form of evil imaginable. Germany owes a lot of blood tax and will pay, they say. Swiss expert Egon von Greyers revealed that most experts agree that the financial system will inevitably collapse because in a bankrupt world system, you reach a point where the value of paper money dies. Enjoy as much as you can the horror show with masked actors, a fake pope, a fake whatever, fake leaders, fake kings, fake French presidents, fake heads of state, fake opposition leaders, fake news, etc., because these are all going to end soon. All of them will pay blood tax for the crimes against humanity they've committed. Prepare for a geopolitical storm like the world has never experienced before, the writer says. Lately, politicians all over the Western world have been talking a lot about the threat of nuclear war, but if they were already worried about nuclear war, they would work very hard to stop it from happening. However, instead of pursuing peace with China and Russia through diplomatic means, Western leaders seem to have decided that now's the time to get really tough on China and Russia. But why? Because they simply want to see these two countries collapse and be replaced by governments that are ready to accept a new world order. In 2022, a study was released that concluded that a full nuclear exchange between the United States and Russia would result in billions of deaths. A full-scale nuclear war between the United States and Russia would kill 360 million people immediately. And that's the good news. The bad news is that about 5 billion people will starve to death during the nuclear winter that follows. Western leaders are trying to convince us that the only way to avoid such a fate is to embrace their vision of a new world order. Led by them, French President Emmanuel Macron delivered a speech at the Asian Economic Cooperation Summit, APEC, at the end of and then he said we need a single world order. The source is from the End Times, Michael, and I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.